Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In tonight's episode, we're reacting to Manchester City's 3-2 win over Leeds United on Saturday afternoon after back-to-back losses to Bayer Leverkusen and Newcastle United. Christian, I know we're a couple of days, we're recording this just before the Fulham game. So obviously a lot of what you say here might be caveated with maybe some good things, maybe some more bad things, which we'll touch on.
Maybe a post-match live if things go really bad.
So this could be completely superseded. But you did beat Leeds at home.
Yeah.
You were 2-0 up. You made a complete balls up of it. Not, some individuals specifically, what we'll get to. Where are you on the scraping past a promoted team from a 2-0 up position versus good character getting the win in the end? Where are you on the pendulum?
I think you know where I'm going to sit on it, but for everybody else, I don't see that as showing some sort of champion character. I think it's concerning because if you look at the performance in the first half, it was an electric start, and I thought, you know what, 2-0 up, this is going to be a chance to build our goal difference here. Leeds look like a beaten team. They look like if they could have gone home at half-time, they probably would have done. City, however, did go home at half-time. So they were the two differences. Right. Leeds actually did make a change. Leeds came back. It was a very strange match, to be honest, and I think it was littered with a lot of problems, which I've been saying that we're going to come up against all season, and this is why I'll never get too carried away. We are more than capable than blowing away a couple of teams in this league, but where you've got to keep your hat on is you've got to remember, I told everyone this defence is not good enough, and the joke is, Alex, when we lose, I see City fans, and they go, yes, this defence is shit. Okay, that's fine. But then why do I see the same people that are going on the overlap or they're going on like Lab Bible and they're doing a combined 11 when we play a top team and they're arguing for Diaz and Gvardiol? Right, hang on then. So you think we've got two of the best centre-backs in the league. Who are you switching out then, bro? Because, okay, we can all agree Nunes is an idiot. But you are saying you are happy with our two centre-backs. Well, why is the defence shit then? You tell me. Because Nico O'Reilly, shout out that guy, by the way. I think he's put in some seriously good performances. I think he's been one of our best players of late. I really do. I think going forward, he's talented. And I think to say he's not a natural left-back, probably our best defender right now. Which, would you even disagree with that?
No, I think that's very fair. I'm glad you mentioned Diaz because obviously Gvardiol and particularly Nunes stole the show on Saturday. For anybody who watched the game, no, I don't mean that in a positive way. Nunes somehow balls up 3 times in 12 seconds to give a goal away. And Gvardiol, you know, the only thing worse than the tackle was him arguing it wasn't a pen. Right. Obviously, you're a City fan, right? And I look, we all will argue certain things, right? And I get you want your team to argue. The cheek of that man to make that awful tackle, needless tackle, by the way, to then argue the decision after it is as bad as the decision to make the tackle. What Gvardiol was doing on that incident, I have no idea. I can't. This isn't the same guy who was one of the best defenders at the World Cup in Qatar. Yeah. He's not got high IQ.
No.
The thing is as well, I know you could say, well, he's just arguing it because, you know, that's what everyone does. I actually think he thinks that isn't a foul. I actually think he thinks, I got the ball eventually after I chopped him in half.
Well, Alex, that was what the players were saying. Bernardo was having a pop at the ref. And I think that's what they were alluding to. It's like, no, he did absolutely take him out, but he does scoop the ball after. It's like, well, yeah, but I mean, we've got to add a little bit of context into this. Jesus Christ. I mean, I was absolutely flabbergasted. Not only that he did it, but then that he appealed it. And I am actually concerned that the teammates were arguing his case. It was not a rush of blood, Alex, and this is my problem with Gvardiol and Diaz alike. I know he didn't do anything too bad that day.
He was sluggish, Diaz.
He is sluggish, but we'll get onto that in a second. Gvardiol, it's no longer like these rush of blood moments. I see that he's quite consistent with these head-gone moments. And I feel like City fans like to overlook it because, well, he has been good for a goal in previous seasons. And to be fair, when he was playing at full-back, in that season when we won the league. He was, probably at his best. Now, when we have seen him more, we've not had that shield of Rodri in the centre, and teams have thought, fuck this, we can get at these a little bit. I think you've really started to see what he's like when he's running back towards his own goal. And Alex, I'm telling you, it's a walking disaster. And then you've got Diaz, the other side of him. Now, Diaz, I don't know what has happened with this guy, because physically he looks finished. I mean, mate, the amount of times I see when teams are playing the ball over the top and this guy is doing some sort of power walk back to his own area while players are flooding past him. I don't know what is going on. I mean, I understood at the start of the year Pep was kind of going with this, we're going to play the offside trap quite a bit. I didn't know to the extent. I didn't know he just said to Diaz, just don't worry about running back. If they do beat the offside trap, just rely on Donnarumma. I mean, for fuck's sake.
He made Calvert-Lewin look an absolute handful. With all due respect to him, he's a substitute for Leeds United. To come on and make that impact says more about City's defence than it does about Calvert-Lewin. Calvert-Lewin put himself about and he got his goal, although he couldn't really miss. And I just think that, what's mad about City is goals conceded, you've only let in 12, which is not, okay, Palace have let in 11, Villa have let in 11. You've probably got like the 4th or 5th best defensive record.
I think, Alex, but I think there's a bit of a caveat to that because we have got the best goalkeeper in the world. I know he's had a couple of moments and looked a bit iffy off some set pieces, but his shot stopping is phenomenal. And I think he saves you sometimes 1 or 2 goals a game. So I feel like, yes, you can look at that and it does look okay, but I feel like you've really got to delve into it a little bit more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think you're going then to the other side, Alex, and we've got Nunes. Now, Nunes in the first half looked all right. Do you know why he looked all right, Alex? Because they didn't go past the halfway line. And they were happy and looked like they were just happy to lose the game at a canter. Now, as soon as they made the change at half-time, brought on that fella, I think they went to 5 at the back, changed the system a little bit. Suddenly, they started pushing into our half a little bit more. Now, Nunes, whenever he is asked to do anything in his own half, my heart's in my mouth, bro. Every single time. When I see him anywhere near the box, I'm thinking handball, foul penalty, possible own goal, or he will nudge it to one of the defenders. I do not rate this guy remotely. He is awful. I don't know why we have got him. I'm not having it that he can put one good cross in and then we forget about all his defensive work. No, we've got to look at that. He's a right back and we're playing him as a right back right now. So I'm going to judge him accordingly. This guy's not good enough.
He's replaced the great Kyle Walker in the team. Obviously not.
I'm
speaking figuratively here. Matheus Nunes is playing right back. This isn't a Fabian Delph at left back. Fabian Delph was a high IQ, solid role player. Nunes is a poor footballer. The fact Manchester City are doing this.
He was good for a team sort, Delphi as well.
Mate, where's Kusanov? Play anybody but him? You cannot be serious. I know you could go, well, it's the league table isn't too bad. Oh, you're second. I mean, you could argue that the counter argument to this, and I agree with you, by the way, is City were about a third of the way into the season, I'd say. Played 13, give or take a half a game. 13 games in, so you're on pace for about 75 points. If you times your points total by 3, Arsenal are on pace for 90. They'd beat you by 15 points. I know it necessarily won't work like that. 75 points, is that where you think you're at, Christian? Or do you think would that be an underachievement from your perspective?
I think there's a few things to look at. Obviously, I've moaned about the defence. At the end of the day, we did get over the line. And we got the victory. Look, I can't moan. I was jumping around like a lunatic. I'm really happy for Foden personally as well. I thought he played well. To be honest, second half, I don't think anybody played well. I do think he shows signs though, especially when Cherky came on. I think him and Cherky linking up is a key area for us because I don't feel like Foden has that relationship with anybody else in the team right now. So I feel like them intricate little passes into him, they are going to have to work and develop that relationship. Because if
do you think just what we spoke about with Amarin before about Diallo, and as soon as something happens at right wing back with Ahmad, he's quick to go, oh God, swap for Dalot Mazraoui.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a similar thing with Pep in these away games where he's trying to play Cherki away at Newcastle, trying to integrate him into his best team?
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, Newcastle didn't go great. Not that he was that bad, actually. I just, it's almost like we lost 1-0, Cherki out straight away.
Yeah.
Do you think that's Pep's way at the minute with Cherki, where it's like he's not fully convinced and it's like his first one, he's willing to hook?
Yeah, I do agree with you. There's definitely some truth to that. However, we have seen this in the past from Pep Guardiola. Now, he does prefer going too safe at the moment, and that would be my biggest criticism. Bernardo is going to play way too many minutes this year because ultimately Pep trusts him more than an adventurous young player that can produce something but might also lose the ball in his own half. Do you know what I mean? Pep is preferring right now a solid 6.5 out of 10 from Bernardo week in, week out, because he knows you're never going to get a 2 off him. However, he thinks, I'm not going to risk the 9 from Cherki in these big away games because it could equally be a 2. And it could cost us 2 goals. And I think he is going with that metric. But at the same time, for me, Alex, you need to let this relationship build, because we are so heavily reliant on Haaland. And you see when he doesn't score, we are completely devoid of any ideas going forward. That's why it was huge Foden scored. Yeah. But for me, if Foden doesn't score and Haaland doesn't score, who have we actually got as any sort of talisman, goals from anywhere? We really haven't, Alex. It's so concerning. And I think this is why Pep, he needs to look at the situation of playing it too safe. And he needs to be careful, because we will slip down the league, because then, look, we got out of it. We got out of jail on the weekend. Yeah. That could have easily been a draw. I mean, Alex, to be quite honest, I was watching it with our old man and I said, I think we're going to lose, to be honest. I could see the way the game was going. They were getting these fucking Rory Delap throw-ins in the last 10 minutes. And I was like, you know what? I can see them doing it. And they were probably unlucky. They were certainly unlucky not to get a point.
Christian, when 10 minutes went up, I was sat there watching it myself. And I was like, this isn't like 10 minutes, wow, this is a given, City will get over the line. I was thinking the same as you. I was thinking, 10 minutes, Leeds could win this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not hating here. Like, I totally agree with what you're saying there. And look, Bernardo Silva's lucky boy, by the way. That dive on a yellow card is so lucky. That's a game changer. That's a Leeds win. If the ref pulls that, he's off.
Yeah.
These...
For an experienced player, I mean, we're talking about going safe. I don't know. That was a crazy moment. I don't know whether he hesitated because he wanted the contact and then he's gone. Because, I mean, as soon as he did it, you could obviously tell he regretted it. He didn't even turn around. He was just hoping the whistle didn't go, I think.
100%.
Because if the whistle does go, even if he's given it, they're going to VAR it and you're gonna walk. So
yeah, 100%. I mean that's the crazy thing from the ref's perspective. He didn't give the pen because he didn't think it was a foul, so you think he didn't see contact. But they're the margins when you're in these tight games. We talk about Arsenal not blowing teams away. You're going to have a 2-2 at Sunderland. You had it at the weekend. If you're not putting teams to bed, a little decision here. If Bernardo got a red there, you could have easily lost that. You probably don't win. Maybe fair to say the game changes on its head. And these are the margins City are playing with at the minute. And just on your point, Christian, obviously that you're playing in half an hour, so we are a little bit stuck for time here on this Fulham preview. It is literally in 27 minutes. He's not played Cherki tonight either, which has surprised me slightly because he's gone with what looks like the same team as Leeds, who didn't convince over 90 and looked leggy in the second half. And it was only 2 days ago. Appreciate this is Fulham. Just what's your reaction to the Fulham team sheet tonight? Obviously, it's Doku, Haaland, Foden, Reinders, Nico and Bernardo as the front six. What's your feeling with that? You're a bit shocked.
The thing is, Alex, right? So the way Pep's thinking is that Bernardo... He doesn't want to play Bernardo centrally anymore because he wants Foden in that position, and maybe because Bernardo just simply hasn't got the legs or the engine to carry him in that position anymore. So he sticks him out wide. But then that completely takes away and nullifies any threat we carry on the right wing, Alex. We've got nothing. Because so many times you see him square up a man and you're just like, he has no other option. Bless him. He's going to have to turn back. He can't get past a man. Do you know what I mean? Technically, Bernardo Silva is a good footballer still. He always will be. However,
Steady.
if you are
Yeah.
looking at him beating a man now, or maybe
No.
playing them intricate 1-2s, which he used to be so good at, and getting to the byline, you're not going to get it anymore. So what happened, Alex?
Yeah.
When I think it almost worked in our benefit, to be honest. In that Leeds game, Leeds got so comfortable with that there was no threat on that side. I think when Cherky comes on, suddenly they were a bit like, oh shit, and then they were out of position. Cherky, whatever you want to say about him, he is a bit of a, he's a bit of a throwback player and no one really knows what to make of him yet, including myself. And I need to see this guy over a good 10 to 15 match period. But what he did do is he brought attention to him, freed up Foden a little bit. Foden skips a challenge, bang, creates some space. Now, Bernardo is incapable of doing that because the defenders are not concerned. They will happily give this guy room because they know he can't do anything to damage them. And that's the problem.
It is strange how... Look, I don't know. I honestly don't really know what Pep's doing with it. And I guess you could say you got a puncher's chance right now. Mathematically, you're only 5 points. You can put pressure on Arsenal if you're seeing it that way.
I'll go to that in a minute, bro. But there was just one more.
Christian, is if you're in title race, so are Chelsea because they're a point behind you. And I'm no way a Chelsea in a title race. City, by reputation and mathematically, you have to say yes. Like I said, if you do the maths, you're on pace for 75 points. I think that's about what I think this squad. I think that's about par. Maybe slightly under. Maybe 77. Would you say?
I think the rumours with City that they're heavily linked with Semenyo. I think City are going to move on a winger. Our Tier 1 journals are saying they're going to move on a winger in January. So I think that could change things. Not that I'm hanging my hat on that. Currently, do I think we're in a title race? It's a tough one because you are right, and I do agree with you. We are only in it by reputation and not by what our eyes are telling us with this squad and what they're capable of. You've got Donnarumma, you've got Erling Haaland, and then you've got Pep Guardiola, and I think they're the three that realistically you're looking at right now, and that's why people are saying we're in a title race. But if we don't add and bolster that front line and get goals from somewhere else, we're going to fall short in too many matches, Alex. And them last-minute goals, they won't bail you out every time. And to be honest, mate, that last-minute win, like we've both agreed on, could have easily been a last-minute loss. And you're going to get that a few times because you're dicing with death in them situations. And there was just something else as well, bro. So we are stuttering in that game. Erling Haaland had a really poor game. One of his poorest matches for Manchester City. Now, you know what? I felt really sorry for Marmoush. And he's on the bench. It's the 86th minute and he gets called upon. And I'm like, right, all these things I was saying have not only come true, but they're actually worse than I even said. I was like, yeah, this guy's going to maybe get the last 10 minutes of games. He'll play, when he's resting Haaland. He's never bringing Haaland off. He is never bringing Erling Haaland off. So all he's getting is, at best, he's going to get the Carabao Cup games, which he isn't bothered about. I really do not think he trusts Marmoush. And if he could go back in time, do I think he makes that signing? Well, if he does, I'd need an explanation as to why, because he doesn't look like he fancies the guy whatsoever. I feel sorry for him, mate, and I don't see how this guy ever gets a chance. He is no winger. He is not a Premier League winger, and I told everybody this. He can't beat a man, and he's not a good dribbler. What he is a bit of a flair player that is good for a goal, and he has got pretty decent finishing ability, especially outside the box. And when it was that game, and I thought, we're struggling to break them down, I was seeing the ball endlessly go out wide, and Doku was having a shit game, kind of one of them games where he was falling over his own feet. Bernardo's on the other side just playing it back to the fullback, playing it back to Nunes. Yeah. And I'm thinking, if you're not going to bring him on in this scenario, when are we ever going to see Omar Marmoush?
Yeah, and then as soon as he comes on, he gets a great chance, and but the point is, he got the chance, and that's what Marmoush does. He sniffs. He should have scored, but mate, he's cold. He's ice cold right now. He's no minutes. He's no rhythm, and I wasn't shocked because I do think he's the type of he's a bit of a goal scorer type of player, and he does sniff out stuff in the 6-yard box, which he did on Saturday and should have bagged. But then that's the point, Guardiola. He's going through that weird Guardiola stage. He has these months or 6-week spans where he does weird stuff. So he rested the whole team against Leverkusen ahead of, which was a fairly big game because now pressure's on. You've got Madrid coming up in the Champions League. and you don't want to be in a playoff because that'd be another 2 games. You then play a tough one against Leeds, look a bit leggy on Saturday. He then plays the same team tonight, and doesn't bring anyone in away at Fulham.
That decision against Leverkusen just spun my head. I for the exact same reasons you just said, I did not know how he's got to that. With a thought process, I don't see how he's come to that conclusion and thought that was the smartest thing to do. And then when you're looking at the team sheet tonight, that just blows your mind even further, right?
Because Fulham are an easier out than Leverkusen, right?
Well, you'd think so, but I don't understand it, Alex. And then the worst thing that's happened is he's gone and played that and hoped we'd get over the line, probably hoping it might play Marmouche into some sort of form. We're at home, maybe he'll get a couple.
Yeah.
Now, it's done the complete opposite, and it's probably nearing that Pep exile period where we don't see him for 2 months or something, like with Kusanov.
Yeah, definitely. Think about it this way. Leverkusen, Leeds, Fulham in a 7-day span. 6-day span, was it? Sorry, no, 7-day. You played Tuesday last week.
Yeah.
You've played the same team against Leeds and Fulham, which is quote-unquote full strength, although you disagree with certain aspects of that. The one that he rested the whole team against was Leverkusen. There's no balance. There was no 3 or 4 in there, 3 or 4 in there. It's the same 11 against Leeds and Fulham, who have both been struggling this season. Okay, Fulham have got a bit of a run together now. Leverkusen, 3rd in the Bundesliga, on a really good run themselves. I'll play a reserve team who are all cold. I've no idea what position they're playing. Why not look at Leeds at home? I know you could go, well, we struggle with our first team in the end.
Yeah.
Or Fulham tonight. I can't believe tonight he's put the same team out. I mean, it should be enough. Fulham against City. I'm not saying you're not going to win tonight. I appreciate someone might watch this and you might be 3-0 up in an hour. But I'm just a bit surprised. Like you said, give Marmouche a game. Give Cherky a game.
Alex, I think it's all about balance as well. You know what I mean? I'm not going to sit here and pretend I'm daft and say, look, we need to play the same team every single week. No. I understand there needs to be some changes, but, there needs to be a bit of balance added into that. I didn't necessarily want 10 changes in that game. Could you not have changed 4 and then maybe rotated them forward in the Leeds game? So, accumulatively, you got 8 changes in the space of 2 matches. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't understand why he had to do it all in one go and now pile the pressure on the Champions League. Like you say, we've got to go to the Bernabeu. Am I open for much there, bro? No, just honestly.
Look, we'll see what happens tonight. I assume
Nunes versus Vinicius. That'll be a good laugh for me, won't it?
I assume you're expecting a win tonight. I know we've got this game coming up, haven't we? And we can just quickly touch on that before you.
Yeah, I think. Look, we should win. We should have won comfortably against Leeds. Obviously, we made hard work of that. I do think Fulham is a tough place to go to. Weirdly, though, I know maybe not for everybody, but historically, we have always kind of stuttered there, and we've never really blown them away, even when we've been at our best. So yeah, I'm a bit nervy, to be honest, and especially because they didn't fill me with much confidence at the weekend. I do think we should have enough. I think we need Haaland to be getting back in the goals now, which seems a mad thing to be coming out with. But ultimately, if he isn't scoring, like I say, it creates that issue where I don't really know where to turn to other than him, unfortunately, for Haaland. So,
Foden can. We've seen Foden deliver 20-goal seasons.
I think with Foden,
run, obviously, but
I think with Foden, he certainly has the potential to go on and repeat that again in his career. However, I feel like City need to give him the opportunities to do that. Where Foden is really good, Alex, is in them tight spaces. That is where you see the absolute best of Phil Foden. When Foden got the ball in that Leeds game, I was off my seat as soon as I saw him get it, because I'm like, I know that's where he thrives. Where Foden doesn't thrive is with his back to goal and he's 35 yards out. Well, he's neither one thing or the other there, because he's not really a drive with the ball player. He does have the ability to, and maybe play a quick 1-2. But Foden likes receiving it on the turn where he can get a yard and bang, like he did at the Bernabeu, like he did against Leeds. And I think that's what we need to find him in them spaces. And if it does, it will unlock a lot more goals for us, which is what we need. Sure. I think I'll go with 3-1 tonight.
Yeah, probably similar, maybe 2-1, 3-1, something like that.
Yeah.
It's hard. Again, sort of similar in it, obviously not to the extent of United's inconsistency, but it's just like, I look at City away from home and just overall, I've been underwhelmed in every away game. Even that Brentford 1-0. I mean, like, and obviously you've lost Villa, you lost Newcastle, you lost Brighton. Like, you've struggled. You've not. I imagine you've not got many points away from home.
Well, Brighton and Villa were very similar. Absolutely appalling, the pair of them. It was like we were accepting of a loss and couldn't wait to get off the pitch. Tonight's a big one because you need to really, if you are in a title race, then you need to. These are the teams you just need to tick over. You just need to beat them, and pretty much at a canter. No disrespect to Fulham, but this is not a team that should be doing much against us.
The 15th, Christian, and look, like you said, if you're in this title race, which mathematically you are, because 5 points on the 2nd of December is, especially we're not, Arsenal. Nobody's got full confidence in them yet. I think most people think they're going to win it, probably by a bit more of a default situation where they've not got a challenge that's pushing them. So City have to take care of the bottom half teams away from home, because so far the top half you've not won at, basically. That's the, you might start going to Bournemouth and beating teams like that, but
Alex, can I just ask you this quick question? I'd be interested to hear from an opposition fan point of view, right? So obviously, here I am calling for Cherky and Foden, and I really want that link-up play. I've seen it a couple of times.
Yeah.
Do you think that Pep will ever fully trust them two to be on the pitch at the same time, given the way they both play?
Well, the answer is he should definitely give it every chance, because most people don't think you're going to win the league, regardless of what Pep does.
Yeah.
But that's the wild card that could at least go from puncher's chance to good chance. Or maybe not good, but, I'd say a decent competitor. And I think of it this way. What are you without doing that? You're ticking along, beating teams at home, struggling away. Like you said, can we beat some of these away teams and throw our name in the hat? Because mathematically, in 2 months' time, you're going to be 10 points behind if Arsenal can stay consistent.
Yeah.
So that's no good. You want to now stay within 5, maybe 4, maybe 3 points of Arsenal. You've got to start. You've got to improve, Christian.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think the one bit of criticism, just to be fair though, to balance it out, is that Arsenal, Alex, they played against 10-man Chelsea. And they did not impress me. And Arsenal, a lot of times this year, have not impressed me when I watch them play. They impressed me, Alex, in spells. They had it was in a Europa League, Champions League game, a few weeks back, and it was the first 20 minutes, and I was like, sometimes you watch Arsenal play and you're like, if they're capable of this, why don't they just go and blow the fucking league away? Because no other team is capable of what I can see from Arsenal in 20-minute spells. But then they are not good for the rest of the game. So therefore, there's an issue.
You know what? They're actually quite similar. Where City have struggled away from home. Arsenal have not been overly convincing away from home. Their last two, promoted team Sunderland, drew last minute, trying to sit back, trying to soak up pressure, get out of there with a 2-1.
Yeah.
10-men Chelsea went 1-0 down, got out of there with a 1-1. United got over the line with a 1-0, and we were better in that game. So I'm looking at, really, they're just slightly better than you away from home. That's probably where the 5-point gaps come from right now. So, look, nobody trusts them. I certainly don't. And, I'm looking at them tomorrow, Brentford. Arsenal are going to win it. It's going to be a struggle if they do win it. They're not going to blow it away, in my opinion. They might end up on high points. It's going to be 2-1s and 1-0s and 2-1s all season. I don't think they're going to teams 4-0.
I personally don't think they're going to end up on high points. Not in terms of what we've seen in the past from City and Liverpool.
Yeah, no,
I don't see that. I mean, they might do enough to win the league, but they're going to draw quite a lot of matches because they don't put teams away, and that's going to be their problem. And they are they're too heavily reliant on the set pieces, Alex. They really are. I'm sorry, and yes, okay, it does work, and if you can win a league by doing it, fair play, do it, but you are going to come up against this a lot of times where, you know what I mean? It's going to be pushing it a bit fine.
It says a lot that they're trying to squeeze every bit of juice out of a game with the throw-ins and the set pieces. And I agree with that, by the way. I watched United for years. Corners was just a thing you just did. There was no thought. It was just swing it in, don't score off one. I think we didn't score for about 90 in a row at one point a few years ago. So I'm all for squeezing every bit of juice out.
Yeah.
But are they doing that because there's no faith in actually open play carving teams open? Like,
Well, it
this
does
is the
lead to
thing,
that, doesn't
and it comes down to the fact of the matter is, if Arsenal are going to try and win it on 84, I do think that leaves the door open enough. But City have got to find something better than this, in my opinion. So going back to your question 10 minutes ago, sorry, it's a long answer. I do think Pep should roll the wild card of Cherki and Foden, because I don't think you're winning it without doing that. So
yeah, I agree.
what are you in it?
Yeah.
What are you gonna? You're not going to come fifth. Look at the lead. No way, City are going to come fifth. You'd rather come third and have a go than come second with silver, in my opinion.
Yeah, mate, I think a lot of City fans will resonate with what you said there. So yeah, no, I think great point.
But we've got to see it, and I would have liked to have seen it tonight, actually, because they're the 15th, Christian.
And I think if you're going to roll with it again, Ali, some just Pep decision-making sometimes just doesn't make sense. I mean, if you're going to roll with Cherki and Foden, you wouldn't go St James's Park, but you would go Craven Cottage, right?
Yeah. And
Anyway.
City looked leggy on Saturday.
Yeah.
Like, fair enough if Marmouche...
Alex, Bernardo should not be playing that game.
No.
I mean, that is just... I can't believe he's playing Bernardo Silva again.
You've got Sander Berger, very good player. Lukic and
Tell
Smith
me
Rowe.
Adama is not playing.
Traore is not playing. Alex Iwobi and Harry Wilson are the wingers, so you're okay, I think.
Well, Iwobi's pretty athletic.
Where's Traore? Tell me he's on the bench. No, he's not.
Oh, thank God.
No, he's not. Gutted. Because that could have been a W for Fulham. Yeah, okay, kick off in 10 minutes' time. Appreciate if you're watching this. The game's probably finished or finishing, so we'll probably try and do a post-match or maybe another one later on in the week.
Yeah, for sure, man, definitely.
Ahead of the weekend's games, obviously more games, thick and fast now, Christmas period coming up. We're going to keep trying to churn out as many episodes as possible and as many watch-alongs as possible, even though it's busy period, so... Thank you all for listening. Enjoy the game. Kicks off in 9 minutes. We're going to go and watch it now. Maybe be back on later. If it's worth doing. If it's a Fulham 3-0, I will definitely be on here later with or without my brother. So no, yeah. Let us know in the comments where you at with City. Are you in a title race? What is the how do you get in a title race if you're not? Thank you for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Cheers, guys.